Never use social media as a weapon against your neighbors. The Riverside Hills Nextdoor group thought their posts were helping the community. On Halloween, the app started posting what they were really thinking, and they couldn't delete it. October 31st, 2024, Riverside Hills, an affluent suburb where the Nextdoor app gets more activity than the actual neighborhood watch, where every unfamiliar face becomes a suspicious person alert, where one black family endured 32 posts about them in 8 weeks. This is the story of what happens when a social media app becomes a tool for harassment, when algorithms meet ancestral justice, when your thoughts become posts, and everyone can see exactly who you really are. The Thompson family moved to Riverside Hills in August 2024. Malcolm and Keisha Thompson, both 37. Malcolm was a software engineer. Keisha was a pediatric nurse. Their kids were Jaden, age 12, and Zara, age 9. They'd saved for 8 years to buy a house in this neighborhood. Good schools, low crime, safe streets. The American dream. They closed on their house on August 15th. A beautiful 4-bedroom colonial. Tree-lined street, neighbors on all sides. The Thompsons were excited, nervous. This was a big step up from their apartment. They wanted to make a good impression. On day 3 in the new house, Malcolm was unloading boxes from a moving truck in the driveway. 4 p.m., broad daylight, wearing a college t-shirt and jeans. Their house, their driveway, their moving truck, with their name on the rental agreement. 5 minutes later, Malcolm's phone buzzed. Nextdoor notification. He joined the Riverside Hills group when they bought the house. Wanted to connect with neighbors, get recommendations for services, be part of the community. The post? Suspicious activity on Maple Drive. Unknown man unloading items from truck. Several trips in and out of house. Please be aware. Photo attached. The photo was him, in his own driveway, moving into his own house, labeled suspicious. Malcolm stood there holding a box of his daughter's books, staring at his phone. Someone had photographed him, posted him to social media, and warned the neighborhood about him for moving into his own house while black. He showed Keisha. She was furious, posted a comment. "This is my husband, Malcolm Thompson. We just bought this house. He's moving our belongings into our home. Please take this down." The original poster, Sandra Chen, responded, "Just being cautious. Better safe than sorry. You can never be too careful these days." She didn't take it down. The post stayed up. Got 43 reactions, most of them thumbs up, a few laughing emojis. 3 people commented, "Thank you for keeping us informed." That was post number 1. There would be 31 more in the next 8 weeks. Post 2. Keisha's sister is visiting. September 7th. Walking from her car to the Thompsons' front door. Posted as unknown woman casing homes. Walked slowly past several houses before approaching one. Recommend locking vehicles and securing valuables. Post 3. Malcolm jogging. September 14th, 6 a.m. His daily run before work. Posted as suspicious jogger. The same person spotted multiple mornings, seems to be studying houses and patterns. He'd lived there a month. It was his morning routine. In his own neighborhood. Wearing running clothes, with earbuds, clearly just exercising. But to Riverside Hills Nextdoor, he was suspicious. Post 4. Jaden walking home from the bus stop. September 21st. Posted as unfamiliar teen in neighborhood. Backpack suggests possible break-in tools. Keep eyes on your property. The backpack had his school books. He was 12, walking home from school. They'd posted her son, a child. Keisha called the neighborhood meeting, showed up at Sandra Chen's house, asked nicely for this to stop, explained how harmful it was, how her children were being made to feel unwelcome, how they'd done nothing wrong. Sandra listened politely, then said, "I understand you're upset, but we have a right to report what we see. If you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Maybe if you were more active in the community, people would recognize you." They'd been there 5 weeks, had introduced themselves to the immediate neighbors, bought cookies, waved hello, kept their yard perfect. But it wasn't enough. They were black, in a white neighborhood, and Nextdoor gave their neighbors a platform to document their existence as suspicious. October continued the pattern. Malcolm's coworker is visiting. Posted. Keisha is getting a delivery. Posted. Their kids are playing basketball in their own driveway. Posted as noise disturbance. By late October, the Thompsons had been the subject of 32 Nextdoor posts in 8 weeks. 32 times their normal activities had been framed as suspicious, threatening, or problematic. 32 times their neighbors had chosen to surveil and report rather than introduce themselves and say hello. Malcolm wanted to move, cut their losses, sell the house. This wasn't worth it. But Keisha refused. They'd earned this house, saved for it, dreamed of it. They wouldn't let racism drive them out. Not this time. What Keisha didn't tell Malcolm was that she'd been talking to a grandmother. Keisha's grandmother, Mama Jean, was 84 years old, grew up in Louisiana, knew things, old things, spiritual things. Hoodoo is passed down through generations. Mama Jean came to visit on October 28th, saw how stressed the granddaughter was, how her great-grandchildren flinched at every car door closing, how Malcolm checked the Nextdoor app obsessively, waiting for the next post about his family. Mama Jean said one thing, "Baby, sometimes you gotta let people expose themselves." October 30th, the night before Halloween, Mama Jean sat in the Thompsons' guest room. She'd brought a small bag from Louisiana. Inside were items that meant nothing to TSA, but everything to someone who knew. A lodestone, a piece of pyrite, a small vial of oil she'd made herself, and a printed screenshot of the Riverside Hills Nextdoor group page. Mama Jean didn't need to curse anyone, didn't need to cause harm. That's not how her practice worked. She just needed to remove the filter, the barrier between thought and word. The politeness that let racism hide behind concern and caution. She anointed the printed screenshot with her oil, placed the lodestone on top to draw truth like a magnet, placed the pyrite underneath to create light and darkness, and she spoke words her grandmother taught her, words in Creole French mixed with English, asking the spirits to let truth flow freely, to make thoughts become words, to let the app show what people really meant when they posted. Then she folded the screenshot, placed it in a small red flannel bag with the stones, and walked outside in the dark. She buried it at the property line between the Thompsons' yard and Sandra Chen's yard, right where the two properties met, where the surveillance began. Mama Jean came back inside, kissed her granddaughter, said, "Tomorrow's Halloween. The veil is thin. Truth is gonna come out whether people want to or not. You just watch and document everything." Halloween morning, October 31st. Sandra Chen woke up, made her coffee, and did what she did every morning. Checked the Riverside Hills Nextdoor app. Saw 3 posts already from overnight about suspicious vehicles on nearby streets. She thought about posting herself. Had seen Malcolm Thompson leaving for his morning run at 5:50 a.m., same time every day. She mentally composed the post, could frame it as unusual early morning activity. She opened the app to create a new post, but something was different. Her profile looked normal, but there was a new feature, a banner at the top of the group page. Enhanced Truth Mode activated.
All posts now reflect complete intent. Sandra frowned. Must be a new update. She dismissed it and started typing her post about Malcolm's morning run. She typed, "Suspicious early morning jogger spotted again on Maple Drive at 5:50 a.m. Recommend awareness." But when she hit post, the text changed. The app posted instead, "I saw Malcolm Thompson jogging this morning like he does every single day, and I know it's his routine and he lives here, but I don't like seeing a black man in my neighborhood. So I'm going to keep posting about him until he feels unwelcome enough to move because I'm racist. And I use this app to harass the only black family on our street under the guise of safety."
Sandra stared at her phone. What? That's not what she wrote. She tried to delete it immediately. The delete button didn't work. She tried to edit it. Edit function disabled. The post was up, with her name, her profile picture, and the truth she'd never admit out loud. Comments started appearing, but they weren't neighbors. They were from her own previous thoughts. The app was pulling from somewhere and posting them as comments under her name. "I moved here to get away from those people. Diversity is fine, but not on my street. Property values will drop if more of them move in. We need to make them uncomfortable. I'm not racist. I just prefer neighborhoods that are more compatible with my lifestyle. Is that so wrong?" Sandra was frantically trying to turn off her phone, delete the app, anything. But other people were already commenting, real neighbors, responding to what the app was posting under her name. "Sandra, is this real? Did you actually post this? I can see this on my feed. Sandra, this is appalling. Wait, you've been harassing the Thompsons on purpose?" Across Riverside Hills, the same thing was happening to every person who'd posted suspicious person alerts about the Thompsons, about any black person in the neighborhood, about any Latino delivery drivers, about anyone who didn't, quote, look like they belonged. Richard Foster had posted about suspicious vehicles 6 times. All cars belonging to the Thompsons' visitors or people of color doing legitimate business in the neighborhood. That morning, the app started posting his actual thoughts. "I see a brown person, and I assume they're here to steal something because I've watched too much Fox News. And I genuinely believe crime is only committed by non-white people, even though statistics show otherwise. But I don't read statistics. I just react to my fear and prejudice." Michelle Rodriguez had posted supportive comments on every suspicious person alert. Hit the thumbs up, added, "Stay vigilant." That morning, the app revealed, "I'm Latina, but I've internalized the racism, and I participate in this harassment to prove I'm one of the good ones, and I won't be targeted if I help target others." Which is pathetic and self-hating, but I'm scared. Brian Mitchell had posted about Malcolm Thompson 7 times. The app exposed, "I'm jealous that a black man has a nicer house and car than me, and it threatens my sense of superiority that was based entirely on my whiteness. So I'm trying to drive him out, because if he can succeed here, then what do I have that makes me special? And the answer is nothing. I'm deeply insecure and mediocre, and I know it." The Nextdoor app across Riverside Hills became a real-time broadcast of people's actual thoughts, not their careful posts, their real motivations, their real prejudices, their real fears. Every racist thought they'd wrapped in concern about safety was unwrapped and displayed with their name attached. People tried everything. Deleting the app, it reinstalled itself. Turning off their phones, the posts appeared on their computers, their tablets, their smart TVs. Logging out of their accounts, the app logged them back in. And it wasn't just showing their current thoughts. It was pulling up their post history and adding commentary explaining what they really meant. Sandra Chen's post from September about Keisha's sister now had an auto-generated comment.
I posted this because I saw a black woman who looked confident, and I felt threatened by that confidence because I'm used to being the one in power, and I needed to assert control by making her feel watched and unwelcome. Every single post about the Thompsons had this treatment. The app was doing what Mama Jean asked, showing complete truth, complete intent, no filters, no politeness, just raw racism exposed with people's names attached. By noon on Halloween, the Riverside Hills Nextdoor group was in complete chaos. The app had exposed over 40 residents to racial profiling, harassment, and coordinated efforts to make the Thompson family leave. Posts that seemed innocent were revealed as deliberate campaigns. Seemingly concerned neighbors revealed as racists, using technology to surveil and intimidate. But the app wasn't done. It started posting people's private messages, the group chats outside the public feed where they coordinated their harassment strategy. A private message thread between Sandra Chen, Brian Mitchell, and 4 others appeared as a public post. Private message thread, October 15th, 2024. Sandra, we need to be consistent with posts about the Thompsons. If we all report their activities regularly, maybe they'll get the hint. Brian, agreed. I've been documenting the husband's schedule. Posts every other day should work. Richard, don't make it obvious. Space them out. Mix in other stuff. Michelle, should we report the kids to the police for noise? Sandra, too far. Just keep the Nextdoor posts going. Create a pattern. Make them feel watched constantly. Eventually, they'll leave. Property values depend on it.
This wasn't random concerned neighbors. This was a coordinated harassment campaign. And now, everyone could see it. The entire neighborhood, their employees, their families, because the app was sharing these posts beyond just Riverside Hills. It was posted to people's Facebook, their LinkedIn, their Instagram, their Twitter, every platform, every connection. Total exposure. Malcolm Thompson sat in his home office watching this unfold on his laptop. He got notifications, checked the app, saw what was happening. He called Keisha. She came to look. They sat together reading post after post of their neighbors' actual thoughts about them. It was worse than they had imagined. The coordination, the deliberate nature, the cold calculation to make their family feel unwelcome. But it was also validating. They weren't crazy. They weren't paranoid. This was real, documented, undeniable. Jaden came in. Dad? Kids at school are texting me. They see the posts. Everyone sees them. Malcolm pulled his son close. Good. Let them see. Let everyone see what we've been dealing with. We did nothing wrong. They did. And now everyone knows. By evening, news vans were in Riverside Hills. The story had gone viral. Racist Nextdoor group exposed by app malfunction. But it wasn't a malfunction. It was working exactly as Mama Jean intended, showing truth. Sandra Chen tried to apologize, posted to the group, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean those things." But the app added, "I'm sorry I got caught. I absolutely meant those things. I'm just sorry everyone can see what I really think because now there are consequences, and I don't like consequences." People tried to leave the Nextdoor group. The app wouldn't let them. Displayed a message. You cannot leave until you publicly acknowledge what you did, apologize genuinely to those you harmed, and commit to specific actions to change. Some people did it, wrote real apologies, acknowledged their racism, committed to anti-racism training. Those people were released from the app's exposure. Their posts stopped. They could log out. Others refused, doubled down, insisted they were just concerned about safety. Those people's posts continued. The app kept revealing their thoughts, their conversations, their coordinated harassment, everything. By midnight, the app had exposed the racist structure of the entire Riverside Hills Nextdoor group. Not everyone was racist. Some neighbors had been silent. Some had been uncomfortable but didn't speak up. The app showed that too, posted their thoughts. I saw those posts about the Thompsons and knew they were wrong, but I didn't want to cause conflict, so I said nothing. And my silence enabled this, and I'm complicit, and I need to acknowledge that. Truth for everyone. No one escaped. Not the active harassers, not the silent enablers. Everyone's role in creating an unwelcoming neighborhood was exposed. The Nextdoor app returned to normal on November 2nd. The supernatural intervention ended, but the posts remained. Screenshots had been taken, news coverage existed. The exposure was permanent. 15 families moved out of Riverside Hills within 3 months. Couldn't handle the shame. Couldn't face neighbors who knew their thoughts. Sandra Chen sold her house at a loss. Brian Mitchell was fired from his job after his employer saw the posts. Several others faced professional consequences. The Thompson family stayed because the neighborhood changed. New neighbors moved in, more diverse, more welcoming. The old guard that had used Nextdoor as a harassment tool was gone, and the remaining neighbors who'd confronted their complicity worked to build something better. Subscribe if you believe your online activity should reflect your real values.